face my foe, I lay them low, I fight them without fear. If I should fall and walk no more, I shall not shed a tear. But war is cruel, my comrades die, and I go on alone. I will not stop to ask them why, I know I can't go home. I face my foe, I lay them low, I fight them without fear. If I should fall and walk no more, I shall not shed a tear. My back is broke, my armour's rent, my blood is on the field. My sword is gone, my body spent, I lie upon my shield. I faced my foe, they laid me low, but I go with a smile. The labyrinth, it calls to me, I'll wander it a while. The labyrinth, it calls to me.
That was a good start. No cameras working. Straight away off the bat for the stream. You did really, really well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to whatever this is, as always. Yeah, going to be an interesting one tonight. I think I've been looking forward to this one for a week. Hi, Biscuit. How you doing? Yeah, going to be chatting to Adam here about his first time at Empire, but it's kind of a special one as well, because as a lot of you will know, I suppose first of all I should give you a bit of an update and a bit of news. No stream on Friday. I'm going to be at Comic-Con doing a talk with a load of people, and we're going to be having a laugh, and then staying in London Friday night, back on Saturday, ready for the Alien stream for Make-A-Wish on Saturday, and then the Call of Cthulhu stream on the Sunday for Make-A-Wish as well. And then I can't remember what I'm streaming on Monday. I might take a day off, actually. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, morning, Pete. So, yeah. So that's all the news and a bit of an update there. So we have Adam joining us this evening. As always, ask all the questions in the world. We'll try our best to answer them. So Adam works for the Beeb and was present at E2, I believe, with your cameraman Jack, wasn't it? To go and film us at Empire. Well, I say film us at Empire. Film people at Empire and find out what's what all the fuss is about. Get involved, get stuck in, and have a laugh, hopefully. My wife has just said, I'm sure I have many questions. I'm sure she does. She always does. Always. So we're going to go through, we're going to work through that, have a chat, and then go from there. So I'm hoping that this is more nerve-wracking than what you did for the Beeb, the radio show you did, and everything. So if not,
I was just thinking that it does feel a little bit like that. Yeah, you've nailed it.
I was gonna say it's the focus on your eyes. It's like you can actually see you're intently just trying to get into it. That's all good. Yeah. So there's this is all chill. So this is very, very chill, very, very laid back. If you could, we've done the very first LARP related hot tub stream on this channel.
Amazing.
That was me and my mate Kit. So unfortunately, it was two rather large gentlemen in a hot tub together. So
Well, you don't see too much of that. You know, it could be a gap in the market.
Wow, it seemed to do very well for me. That's for sure.
There you go.
So we are very chill. We've done what's been dubbed the wine streams as well, where we go through a couple of bottles of wine each, and the conversation just drops massively to the floor. It's a lot of fun. They're good laughs, they are. So straight away with a question. Well, first of all, did you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, so for everyone watching.
Yeah, go for it. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciated being asked. I've never done anything like this, but I've always kind of wanted to, so it's pretty exciting. So yeah, my name's Adam Clarkson. I'm basically a journalist at the BBC. Been doing that kind of 10 years around the Northeast, but recently I've been hosting a show on BBC iPlayer called What's Your Thing? And me and my cameraman Jack go and meet interesting people, interesting groups who have a hobby, and we just try and find out, you know, what do people get out of this hobby? What's it all about? And basically it's quite light. It's a bit of a laugh. I really enjoy making it. And one of the new ones that we've done, obviously, was Empire. It was about live action roleplay, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So we've had a couple of questions already. So Helen's asked, where did you first hear about the LARP scene and what got you onto Empire?
So, excuse me. I'm aware of live action roleplay, and I have been for quite some time because, aside from work, just personally, I am a bit of a nerd. So, you know, I'm a Star Wars fanatic. I play Warhammer 40,000. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! And these circles, I think, tend to sort of, you know, they're not a million miles away from the people who enjoy live action roleplay. So I've known what it is for quite a while. I went to, I think, do you call it a linear LARP? Like one of the smaller ones. So I went to Fools and Heroes, Tees Valley, and watched them just over the course of a couple of hours and got a bit of a taste for like what LARP's all about. But this was like 10 people or something. And when we were looking at possible hobbies and passions and pastimes to cover for the new episodes of the series, I really wanted to do LARP because it's something I'm kind of like, I find fascinating, I'm interested in it, and I thought a lot of other people would be interested to get a proper look at what this is as well. I posted on a Facebook group, one of the like LARP event groups, saying, look guys, you know, I want to come and make something about live action roleplay. Who'd be up for it? And a lot of the comments suggested like going to some of the more grassroots events and stuff, but then Empire kept coming up and people kept saying Empire's one of the sort of big ones. So I thought, well, that sounds interesting, purely because it's more of a spectacle, you've got more to look at, and you've got a bigger mix of people to potentially speak to try and get an understanding of it. So that's how we sort of got into it, and that's how we ended up at Empire in the summer.
That's cool. That's very, very cool, because I guess a lot of people well, actually, we'll come on to the BBC and their involvement with LARP in a second, because it's a good leading question after what Pete's asked. So Pete's asked, was it yourself approaching the BBC or them approaching you to do the series or this?
1,000,000% me banging on their door saying, please let me do it. So this isn't even my day job. Like, my day job is covering the news. You know, it's politics, it's council, it's local authority, it's this has happened, you know, da-da-da-da-da. What's Your Thing as a series was like 100% me saying, I know I do this for you. Please, could you let me do this? Because I think it'd be great. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And it's, so the series came from me, and the idea to do LARP also came from me. Like,
Nice.
There was no kind of them going, right, we want you to cover this, we want you to focus on this or this. It was just me going, right, I'm thinking of going doing these. You happy? Yep, great. I'll see you in a few months when it's done. So yeah, purely from up here.
That's
No
really
outside
cool.
forces.
That's really cool because normally when, like we touched on before the stream, when we were having a chat, the BBC have not really covered LARP in any glory in the past.
Hmm.
They've it's literally been a way for them just to take the piss, essentially. So it's nice to hear that this has all come from your head, and you've wanted to do this, and you've got the interest. I mean, I suppose once a nerd, always a nerd. So with 40k
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that. So that's really really cool. That's really good to hear. So when you were actually in the field, and you were walking around, and you were saying to people that you were from the BBC, what were the reactions that you got from a lot of people? Because I know in one of the bits, obviously that you see on the episode, when people said, "Oh, when you said to someone, can we use this?"
Yeah.
It's like the picture of the flag, and you go with the BBC, and they went, "Nah, mate, you're good."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard to like remember because it was so long ago now, and I've
Mm,
been obviously when you're editing that video, you're watching it for hours and hours and hours. So my mind's kind of mashed with like what happened and what we filmed. But
mm,
that little bit where we're filming somebody's flag, I won't name like the camp, but like just filming a flag, blowing in the sky, and they were like, absolutely not, get out of here. And that's when I'd said, oh, but can I just use your flag? And they went, not a chance, no. And we kept that in as like an example of the types of conversations we were having because we were
yeah,
walking around camp to camp, getting quite a lot of, some people just go silent, shake their heads, no problem, we're away. Some people, might be a bit more colourful than that and just be like, get out of here, like you're not welcome. There was a bit of that, but that thing with the flag was the only bit where we had a recording of it to like illustrate it. So like some of
yeah,
the reception felt like it never felt frosty. No one was like horrible or anything,
no,
but people just were very firm, which was good.
yeah,
And I remember as well Matt P sort of trotting along, and I saw him in the distance just before game in, and he said, "We've just had reports that you've been filming someone without consent," and I was like, I'm sure we haven't because it's been drilled into us so much that you
yeah,
are here if you follow these very very strict rules, and we were so scared of like breaking those rules. Um, so we got a few people who kind of like, obviously went to PD and said, "Oh, these guys are lurking around. We don't like it. Can you go find them and have a word with them?" Some people told us to get lost, but like in fairness, like everyone was so nice. Like
mm,
most people who didn't want to be on camera totally respect it. We respect that, and they were just like, "No, thanks, off, bye." But then for every person that didn't want to be in it, obviously there was someone who did, and the people who are sort of comfortable broadcasting what they do, as far as LARP's concerned, you can see how like passionate they are, and everyone was
yeah,
welcoming, wanted to chat to us, like, oh, you're here at the Twisted Goblin Armories, yeah, great. If you met the Golden Apple, I'm like, who the Golden Apple? Come on, I'll introduce you. And there was that kind of like a snowball effect, As soon as someone wanted to be in it, they wanted to like show you everything that they like. So the reception, yeah, probably not even as bad as I thought it was going to be because
good,
I'd been reading the Facebook comments on the Empire page. Obviously, they posted. Well, it's funny, because a few months before I was looking to make more episodes, a reporter from the Daily Mail had put a post up which someone had sent me, and they said, "Oh, well, I think they were looking for somebody who had met in role play and got married." It was quite specific. The comments they were brutal. Like this poor journalist got told where to go, and I was thinking like, are we gonna get the same kind of thing? And although a lot of people said don't like the BBC, I don't like talking about LARP, I don't want my face on camera. This is like a private event for me.
yeah,
The comments weren't like as brutal, but I did go in kind of expecting like, are people just gonna like turf me out like an angry mob? But it never happened. It was really welcoming.
yeah. It's an interesting one. There's a lot of people who meet their say. Yeah, I wouldn't trust the Daily Mail to do a sympathetic piece about it. No, I wouldn't trust the Daily Mail with anything really. Daily household tasks. You've never worked for the Daily Mail, have you?
I've only ever worked for the BBC.
That's fine then.
And I used to wash pots, but no, that's it.
There we go. Yeah, it's a really interesting one because a lot of people are very protective of this hobby. I mean, I'm very, very passionate about this hobby. If I wasn't, then I wouldn't be able to do this. And I've got some amazing people around me, and there are other people who I've helped get into this hobby who are now going off and doing their own thing. So like we were talking about Abby to start off with and stuff. And I remember when Abby first came along to do. She came into the Discord and we were chatting away to her for a bit, and actually got her and her brother on stream because they didn't have a clue. There were all these questions that they had. So basically, it was just like to go through and do everything. But as they've gone on, Steve, thank you very much, Abby. Hello, Abby, as well. So Abby's in chat as well.
Hi, Abby.
Now it is legit my life. Yes, Abby, I know. I follow you on Instagram. It really is. Abby does so much. Not just LARP. It's all like cosplay and things like that. She is absolutely amazing at what she does. I need to get Abby back on stream, funnily enough, to have a little just to have a little catch up chat with her because I haven't done that for a while. Until now, the only journalism of films, etc., about LARP have been people taking the piss. So, was it Knights of Badassery? Just taking the piss. Your Highness takes the piss. Grown Ups takes the piss. There hasn't been one out there that's anything that's not taking the piss. There is a Canadian like a web series called LARPs, the series. It's about 5 years old now, and they did a series purely about LARP and how weird it is. And it's the most wonderful representation of a LARPer I've ever seen because it is so true. It is so true. So I really recommend that one to you. It's on YouTube. You can't miss it. I saw a good one called LARP Saved My Life. I've not seen that one, but I'd have to watch that.
I think that LARP Saved My Life is one of the ones I have seen. Because I saw some other BBC ones. I mean, it wasn't quite the same as what we were doing, because we were doing a show. You know, it's not the same as a news article in any way. Well, it kind of is, but it's not. But that LARP Saved My Life, I think that was a Vice one on YouTube, and I seem to remember thinking that was really sweet, if I've remembered it correctly.
It's a really strange thing that get people noticing LARP and get it in and what you see when it comes to LARP. Because I remember there's a guy who was literally he was training for a marathon, and he was walking around in all of his LARP armor and weapons. I believe he was training for a marathon, and he found a corpse. So when he was interviewed, this was in America, so he was interviewed literally in all of his LARP regalia, going, yeah, so I was just walking around this lake and I found a dead body. It was just bizarre. And so I know there are people out there who said, that's my first ever thing when it comes to LARP. So, but LARP in America is a really weird thing. It's all political, like everything in America. It's all very, very political. Generic Twitch name. In my opinion, one of the stories of Empire isn't the game itself, but all the behind-the-scenes work. 100%. Did you get to see much of the behind-the-scenes stuff as well? With God, Monster, all the crew, and everything.
Yeah. So when we first arrived on site, we sort of went to say hello to PD and Matt and sort of pay our respects before we let loose, and just to establish where can we go, what can we do, kind of thing. So we did spend a lot of time up near the PD huts, and you've got the guy with the walkie-talkie who people can come to if there's any kind of, I believe it's lore questions or can I cast this spell kind of thing, we're allowed to do this, and he would, So we saw all that. We didn't see God Tent to start with. Now, I think we had spent some time stood outside God Tent and were speaking to one of the people there about how bows and arrows work, and she was explaining how that sort of system works. But on the Saturday, when it became possible that there was spare kit and we could actually stay Saturday night, if we got stuck in and we couldn't film it, we were yes, please, we'd absolutely love to do that. So we got taken back to God to go through all the character creation stuff, and we stuck his name in the credits. 'Cause he was great. Adam at God was like, right, there you go. And we kind of were there with our puppy dog eyes, like, we don't really know what we're doing. He said, right, hang on, come back. And he walked us through the whole process of creating a character. And if he hadn't have done it, would have been there all night, like, trying to make sense of it, you know? Because it was all new. So, yeah, we saw God. We saw the PD thing. We saw the setup for, like, the monsters on the battle on the Saturday. So we did spend a bit of time seeing, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff, which was really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of effort that goes into the game. So Jess is in chat. She actually works in God. Adam, he is the loveliest head of department. So yeah,
For sure.
there's loads of people that go there. I don't want to say it out, so don't want to give any other content creators ideas here. But I'm currently in negotiation with PD so that I can turn up on the Wednesday, because normally players are only allowed up on the Thursday, but I'm looking to go on the Wednesday so I can do a load of filming to show everything off behind the scenes, so people can see it all. Because I think that I really believe this is what people need to see. But anyway,
I think you almost like we didn't appreciate, like we knew there was like however many thousand people going, but we hadn't thought of the like infrastructure that you get from PD, and like we totally, like, it blew us away when we actually got an understanding of what goes into creating this world. That was like, yeah, that was mind blowing for us. So interesting.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. When I started, I was on gate crew, so I was a little bum and I couldn't afford to go, so wasn't overly interested to start off with, and so I was one of the little bods that you'd see on the gate to start off with, and I did that for like a year and a half, and that was the start of the love affair for me. Well, with Empire anyway. Been LARPing for too long. So because we've been jumping all over the shop, so if we go back to, so you arrived on site, so because you said you're northeast, so you've had a fair old bit to travel.
Yes.
To get down there. So after a good 4 or 5 hour drive.
I remember being stuck in traffic. I think there'd been an accident or something on one strip of road with the sun just blaring on one side of my face. I seem to remember that. So yeah, it took us a good while to get there. And then we checked in at the hotel. We had like wondered if we could camp in like the out of character bit just to like be there the whole time. But when you think about, like, we needed kit charging, and we didn't have any portable stuff. So we stayed above a pub in is it Buckingham? Is that the literal town around the corner?
You got Dadford, you got Toaster, you got Silverstone Village as well.
Might have been there.
Yeah.
I don't know. We stayed somewhere around the corner, and then drove round to the gate, which was our first time there.
Yeah. So when you drove onto because you got there on the Friday, didn't you?
Yeah.
So when you drove onto site, then, because there's that lovely bit where before you get to the main gate, where you come up the hill and you see a load of the field and all the tents and stuff like that. What was What was your initial reaction when you both saw that and you were driving through?
Jack was filming at the time, and he was like, right, you do like a little introduction, right? As we're driving in, we'll set it up like a proper documentary, like the reporter's driving somewhere and we're going to find something out. Yeah, we just thought it'd be kind of funny to like do that, but we're actually at something, it's just, it's obviously not a gritty investigation like that. But we're driving and I literally saw the tents and just got so giddy, just like lost my train of thought completely. I was like, Jack, look, because we'd been excited to come since we'd like, arranged it, and that's a whole story in itself, I suppose. It took quite a while to actually arrange it, and I'd been so excited to like just spend the weekend there, but when we actually physically saw the tents for the first time, that was just like it was just excitement. I felt like a little kid, just could not wait to get stuck in. And as you go past the gates and you can see, I think it's some of the Navarre camp on your right in the trees, and that's our first glimpse of like the world. And you see people, I mean, obviously not everyone was in costume, in their outfits, in their kit on the Friday, but we saw some glimpses of that as we were parking up, and it was just pure like childlike excitement. Just like, we just need to go see it now. It was really good.
It's amazing because everyone in chat is saying the view gets me every single time. The view as I get up that track really makes me feel at home. It's a big thing because a lot of people will say when they're doing it, it feels like coming home to a
Yeah.
lot of
No, I
players.
bet. I can
It's
imagine.
it's a great feeling. So for me, it's because we drive down the backfield and then we turn into Wintermark right down the other, literally the polar opposite end of the field that you were
Yeah.
in, and we park up and it's. How often were you hugged? That's a question I need to ask because larpers are huggers. But
Oh,
funny enough,
what?
I
I
know
don't
Matt
know.
P hugged you. I saw that, and that was a really awkward
Yeah.
hug. It really was.
My wife is also my wife works at the BBC as well. She's a presenter, and like she kind of like is an unofficial producer for the series because I'm editing it at home, and I'll say, "Oh, just watch this little bit. What do you think of this?" And I remember the first time I showed her like the rough draft of episode 3, the last one, and she went, the bit where you hug that guy, it's just too awkward. You're gonna have to touch it out. I said, "No, it's good. It needs to stay in." It was awkward.
It was so awkward. It
Yeah,
was
but I kind
great.
of liked it.
It was
It kind of felt right that it was awkward.
yeah.
So
Oh,
we
very
kept
much
we
so.
kept it. But I don't think I got hugged too much other than that. From what I remember, I don't
It's
know.
it's a wonderful thing because all of these people in the field, you see them 4 times a year, and they are all great people, and then you see them again, and they become some of your closest friends. It's amazing, really. So, like I was saying to you beforehand, this year for me has been a year from hell, really. So with the cancer,
Yeah.
with the surgeries, and everything. So, and then seeing people and having people coming up to me who I haven't seen in ages, but it's just like give you a hug and offer you a bit of support. Make sure you're eating and drinking. They're big, huge things as well. So it's absolutely wonderful. So, and Biscuit, who's been in there, he's been really, really cool. So I only really see Biscuit at Empire, and that is his real name. It's not, but
Is it?
it might. Everyone just calls him Biscuit. So,
Fair.
yeah. So I've only ever seen him at Empire, but then he came on my stag do as well. So it is my real name. Excellent. So yeah, it is his real name. His
I'll
parents
tell you an
hate him.
interesting one though. I'd posted on the Empire group like the week before it was coming out just to say, right guys, we're nearly there now, it's coming out kind of thing. And I got a message on Facebook on like the Friday night from a guy called not a name I recognised, right? And when I clicked on the chat, it said, "Oh, I've just seen that you've been to Empire. I go there. I've been going there for years." And There's a long message about LARP. I thought, that's nice. Like, who are you? And I'm scrolling up and I can see I was talking to this guy in 2011 about like Skyrim that's obviously when it came out.
Oh my
I'm thinking,
God.
who is this guy? So I just went along with it, and I realised this guy was like my best pal at secondary school, and we drifted apart. And he'd seen my name crop up when we'd been posting about Empire, and had just like got back in
Wow.
touch. And it turns out he's been LARPing for years at Empire.
That's amazing.
So small world.
It really is. It really is. It's the strange thing as well about Empire is that there are so many people there with really high profile jobs as well. So it's why when it comes to filming, because this is something that I've discovered, because I do something called I do makeovers basically for people. So people who can't afford kit, they can't afford a ticket, they really struggle with money. I'm only allowed to film at like certain periods of time, as same as you. So there are a lot of people there who I've seen out, and because I know what they do, so they're diplomats, they're politicians, they're high up in the police force, they're high-ranking officers in the police force, in the military. You see them with a camera, and they see you. You have to look a different way or stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Some of them are dickheads, and they will literally walk directly into shot, knowing full well I have to edit it all out, and that. So that's quite fun. Some of the people I met at Empire I literally worked with before I saw them in the field. Yeah, so a friend of mine, Ryan, it turns out he works with 3 people from Empire, and he never knew until he turned up to the event, and then he started seeing things on Facebook. It's bizarre.
No.
It really is bizarre. It really is bizarre. So, you've got into the field, you've got your kit on and stuff like that. So, someone else. I haven't bumped into anyone I know yet, other than people I've seen on social media, but I've only been there once. Well, you've got a long road yet, and I promise you will meet a lot of people, and these will be people you can't get rid of for a very long time. LARPers hang around like a bad smell. So it's a wonderful, wonderful world. So you've got into the field, you've seen all the tents, you've got that buzz going, you've been to God, you've got your kit on and stuff like that. You've done your filming and thing. You've been told off for filming a flag. Thing. How did you then? So when obviously, what was your character name? I think this is a good start.
So it might be quite basic. I was Adam, son of Clark, and I had to ask Adam at the God tent. I was like, "What do I go for? Like, what's too far? Like, what can I do?" And I was like, "Can I just go for something basic?" And he was explaining that the Marcher Nation have quite like traditional Old English names, and I was like, "Well, Adam's quite old. It's the oldest, it's the oldest name going." So I was like, "Can I be Adam, son of Clark?" And he said, yeah. And Jack, I cannot remember what Jack's name was. He might have just been called Jack. I think he asked,
Probably.
like, could I just be called Jack still? And they were like, yeah. So once we got over the hurdle of, like, the names, it was like, well, what do we do? I'm not going to run in and say, yeah, I'm a warrior and da-da-da, when I don't know the world, I don't know the nations. We just wanted to know enough to maybe hold our own in a conversation and not stick out too much. So Adam at God set us up as, like, I think apprentice traders, and he said, traders, you'll know this more than me, traders can get different packs. I'm going to suggest you take the Herb Garden, I think it was called, and, you get some coins, and then what you need to do is just go and trade, go and find out the lay of the land. So I think we got taken to one of the Marcher pubs first, and it was like, because we've been working all day. I know we're just walking around with cameras, but it's like, it felt like,
it's
right,
knackering.
Now we can proper, like, chill out. It was a hot day as well, like, it was proper hot, and I'd committed to wearing a cardigan and a shirt, and I proper regretted it as soon as we got there because I was boiling. So it was nice to get that off and get the kit on. So we had a few drinks in one of the Marcher pubs, and then a couple of guys offered to take us on a tour of the whole thing. So we had a tour around all the different nations and stuff, which was great. And it was getting kind of like nighttime at this point. We saw a load of stuff kicking off outside one of the big tents. Matilda Fisher, is that what she's called?
Yes,
Fisher.
yeah, Matilda Fisher.
There was some kind of hoo-ha involving Matilda Fisher, and we were just watching people pushing each other and shouting, and obviously it was like, this would be amazing to film, but also it was like, this is amazing not to film, because if I was stood trying to enjoy this and get involved in this, and someone's there with a camera, it's just going to take you out of it. Instantly, if we ever at any point felt hard done by about how strict PD were, like, with the filming, that just vanished immediately. It was like, I get it. Like, I totally get it now. And so we saw all this argy-bargy, and then this portable bar comes flying down the road on, like, wheels. So we went and filled our tankards up with cider, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever been to. It was absolutely brilliant. And then obviously we were going around, we were trading. I got introduced to some guy, the Something Squid, who compiles, like, average prices for all the different materials.
The thrifty squid.
Yeah, I've still got his little thing at home with the prices on. So we bought a thing off him, so we had an understanding of what we had, and we were going around trying to trade with people and stuff, and Jack got more into it than I did. He was, like, being so strict on the negotiations, trying to get the best prices and stuff, to the point it was like, we've done this for long enough now, Jack, let's, like, move on and meet some more people and stuff. And he was like, I was getting really into that, wasn't I? Like, yeah, you were, mate. Like, yeah. But it was great. And then we just kind of went from bar to bar to bar and just, like, chatted to people. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's the way of it. And normally when you get into the evenings, because when it gets a bit dark, people will find that it's right. Let's go to a bar in this nation and we can sit down and talk to people, because the thing I love to do, I love to people watch. So Empire used to have. Well, you saw the Forge, the big wooden pub, right in the middle of the field?
Yeah, we had a few in there.
That used to be twice as wide, 3 times as high, You could go and actually sit upstairs. It was wonderful. It was a
wow.
really, really nice place. Then over time, it just fell apart. I used to love going and sitting in there and just listening to other conversations. It's where you'd find out so much about the game, and you would be able to see who was involved, who was coming around, and you could get involved in anything you wanted to in any of the pub in any of the nation. And there are so many pubs as well. It's a great way to get involved in the game. So I can see why the people try to take you around. So we had a few people, new players, who came over to us one event, and they hadn't had their pack, they hadn't had any, so they had no money, resources. Gave them a load of money so that they could go off and enjoy the game. So, and it was really, really cool. They came back and said how much fun they'd had, and it was really good. And it was nice. It's nice to see them at every single event since as well. So that's been really, really cool. So, but you've already touched on something that happened with Matt P about getting to do this. So you've already said that's a story in itself. So I'm interested into what happened with Matt P then to get you to be able to actually come to the event to film.
Yeah, I mean, I think we tried to we tried to address it in the video a little bit about like how difficult it was to get it sorted. So I'd been led by this Facebook LARP event group towards Empire. I'd never heard of it. I wasn't aware that there was these big festival LARPs. I only knew about Fools and Heroes. Basically. So I remember emailing Matt, and the email I sent's probably really cringy. I've probably got it somewhere. And it was this long spiel about, because I knew from the off what was going to be difficult here was like gaining trust, because something like LARP, as you've talked about before, as we're all nerds, we're all aware of it. It's an easy target. Like, look at these guys in their costumes, and you can probably generate something quite big on the internet just poking fun. And that's in all these episodes that I do, that's the opposite of what we want to do. We want it to be like, oh, that was class, I actually love seeing that. Oh, I've learned something about this now. I actually like have an appreciation of this. I guess we can talk about the reaction like later, see if we did that. But so I knew from the off it was about convincing Matt that we weren't there to do what all these other pieces do. So I think I literally was like, I play Warhammer, I like Star Wars, I'm kind of a bit like you, please let me come. And he was like, straight off the bat, like, nah, I don't think this is going to be possible. We're very strict with filming, it's just logistically, nah. And I said, well, fair enough, right? If that's the case, like, we'll leave it there. But would you come on a call with me and like, let's just have a natter and stuff? And I was like, right, Adam, you got to charm him now, mate. So I was just like, we had the same conversation where I was like, just trying to like, just promise I'm not there to make fun, And when he kind of said, right, I'll float it past some people and we'll go from there. Me and Matt must have exchanged, like, I wouldn't even want to estimate how many emails. Like, it's the longest email thread I've ever had in my 10 years. Like, when you look at it, just back and forth. And could we do this? No. Well, what about that? Well, maybe, but then there's this. And, right, I've just thought of it. And this was constant. It must have been a nightmare for him as well, because obviously he's got the whole thing to sort on top of, like, trying to accommodate us. It just seemed to go on forever. But I was, like, so passionate about doing it. And I really did feel that, like, right, we won't be viewed as going in and taking the mick, because that's honestly not where we're coming from. It's just getting Matt to like believe that. But it just went on for so long, and when they finally posted it on Facebook, and there was a lot of comments saying like, nah, like, do not let these guys here, they're gonna do a number on us. I was kind of like, oh man, like, can understand. It's a difficult one because I can understand it completely. I wouldn't let me go either. Like, just hearing the name BBC journalist. So it was a long time coming. Like, we must have been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks until it was finally like, right, you can come. You're allowed to film between this time and this time in these areas, and then your camera goes away and stuff. So I remember we had done the first bit of filming on the first day. Like, we had a very short window before time in where we could actually film.
Yeah.
And I remember Jack saying to me, like, mate, I think this is just going to be a 4 or 5 minute episode, I hate to say it, mate, but there's just not enough footage here to, like, make something. So on the Friday night, we'd gone back to, like, our hotel or whatever. And I was just thinking, there must be some, like, how can we go about making this, like, a great piece despite the filming restrictions? and that's when the, like a light bulb went. Let's just talk about how difficult it was, because it speaks to like how people are protective of this hobby and how they've been done dirty in the past. Let's like
Yeah.
this is the thing. This is the story. It's like we tried to lay it out as authentically as it happened, and that was kind of like the finished piece. So yeah, we went from like Jack kind of feeling that we won't be able to produce anything to something I'm really proud of, you know. But it was like, let's just be honest and say, you know, this was kind of difficult to get here, but you know, we gained a bit of trust, we got stuck in, and this is kind of the conclusion at the end. So that's
Yeah.
that's kind of how it came about.
Yeah, so Jazz has said we need more good representation of LARP. The show will go a long way to making people happier to be filmed in the future. So that's a positive. And Kit said the game has been burnt before, sadly. Helen said it was very well done. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, oh yeah, that was we were
I was
going to
going to say,
talk.
we're 40 minutes in yet. I don't even know if you liked it or not.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yeah, Abby, we'll yeah come to we'll ask that question. I remember that one from earlier. I've sort of kept that one sort of stored. Yeah, so I watched it in a very dubious sort of mood, I should say. I didn't know what to think. Obviously, the BBC. Who knows? Who knows what it was going to be like? So I watched it and was immediately, I think, overcritical straight off the bat. Because this is a hobby I love. This is a hobby that I've been involved with for a very long time. So, yeah, I don't want this to look bad, and I was very, very worried about it. So, and I think it was when the music started playing, and I was just like, oh my god, it's like trumpets, and it was just like it was like the fat man walking down the road, you know. That was the sort of feeling I felt straight off, and I was just like, this is bad. This is going to be horrible to watch. But then you're watching it, and you're seeing people like the Navarre. They were talking about things and stuff like that, and it's just like, yeah, you can't really film LARP in character. It doesn't work. But you see how passionate the players were. Then you're hearing people talking about it, and that was where I was sold straight off, because for me it's not about the people who want to be seen playing the game. It's about talking about the game. It's about talking about their stories. So something I've always said to people when they say, "Oh, I didn't get up to anything," it's, well, you did. You just didn't realise it yet, because there's always stories. You've always everyone's done something. So it's like you said to me, I'll give half an hour. I'll have half an hour, and we can talk this. And there's me thinking, no, we will go. I know we'll last. I know it will last.
Yeah.
Believe me, been there, done that.
I thought I'd run out by half an hour, honestly,
No.
but no, this has flown by, and yeah, there's probably more to talk about.
Oh yeah,
Feels like we're just getting into it now.
Exactly. So there was so much, and you could hear the passion coming from people, and I think you have done a wonderful job of actually getting that out there, rather than having people say, "Oh yeah, I go LARPing. It's all about dress up, pretending to be an orc, rah rah rah," and stuff like that, and taking the piss. It was very much this is what I do, but I like this, and this, and it was the passion that came out more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I mean, the second time I watched it through was very much right, I need to watch this with different eyes on now, and and then not to be defensive and stuff, and it was really good. So I mean, I'd like to hear what chat think about it all. Or I think they probably have been saying, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did thoroughly enjoy it. I would love to see, I'd love to see more of it, to be honest. So one thing I wished was that the interview with Sharon had context to her Jotun speech. Second was that I wish it wasn't directly after the battle and all that snaz had come off. Yeah, I think it's...
we haven't. I remember I've seen quite a few comments about like, oh, why have they gone with that as like the thumbnail and stuff? And like, yeah, now I look at it again, and you can see the makeup's gone. I hadn't even registered. I remember when we wanted, the original plan was to film a skirmish to get some action sequences. So Matt had tried to round up the skirmish orcs or what have you, but we'd timed it so badly they'd just done the monstering for the big battle. So everyone's like getting out of kit, sweaty, boiling, knackered.
Everyone's
So we
fine.
just kind of hung around and went, well, if anyone's up for it, then would love to. And the two people came over that we spoke doing the thing, and yeah, you can see it in the thumbnail, obviously. The paint's come off the chin, but I hadn't even registered at the time. But it's a shame because it would have been nice to get it before the battle, fully kitted out with more of the orcs there, and to see them go off to like fight would have been mint. But you have to remember, like, we're filming with so many restrictions. We just did what we were kind of able to do.
The orcs were great. I loved the Twisted Goblin armories where he was talking about going off to fight the Imperial orcs.
I've seen comments about that as well. I thought I'd made a mistake in something I'd said, and I was trying to make sense of it. And I was like, they're on about him.
He made the mistake. The Imperial orcs are in the Empire. The barbarian orcs are outside the Empire. So he basically just got them the wrong way around. So that was good. Helen told me to stop being such a grump that morning when I was watching it. So my wife came in before she went off to work. She just said, stop being such a grump.
No, I get it though. Like, I would be as well. And like, you were grumpy that morning. I was absolutely bricking it because I was so scared of like, because obviously I felt that it was genuine. Because everything in it comes from like a genuine place, right? And that's just a fact. Like, whether it's accurate or like you guys feel it's a good representation is like another thing. But for me, like, I feel like it's as genuine a thing as I could do. Like, about my experience with this hobby, but. It's not to say I want shitting myself on the morning. I was like terrified that it was going to go out and all the comments were going to be like, this is shocking, this is pathetic, like, how dare you, don't ever come back. And I kind of couldn't relax until I started seeing the comments come in and started to get the feeling of like, all right, yeah, there is some nitpicking going on, which I can understand when the world's this detailed and accurate, I get it. But for the most part, people seem to be enjoying it. And then I was waiting for the Matt P email. That was the one I was like, oh God, what's he got? And he was just like, fair enough, like, it's good. So I was massively relieved and just like,
good.
It's had a brilliant response. Like, I'm absolutely thrilled. And obviously, it's not going to be perfect for everyone, but
no,
like for the most part, I'm so happy it's gone down well.
Nothing's ever perfect.
Nah.
And it's, speaking with everything that I do, it's, every time something goes out and you see people comments on it and they're negative, it always gets you because it's a passion project at the end of the day. So this is something that you've pushed for. So obviously, then if people are then commenting and go, no, I didn't like this, that, and the other, it's going to hit you straight. It's going to hit you quite hard.
Kind of on your behalf more than mine, because like you guys let me in and let me do it, and if I'd have put something out that the majority did not feel was like nice or representative, I'd have felt good because it would have been an accident, or like I would have misjudged the like tone of it, because it is a sensitive thing. I was lucky to be there. I was kind of felt like privileged to have, like, it was an honor to be allowed in to actually put this thing together. And if it had come out and the community went, you've totally like balls this up, mate, it's terrible, like, I would have felt gutted for you, like, more than anything. So that was kind of because I want people to watch it and enjoy it, but I was more concerned with what the LARP community make of it than like the general population.
Well, I'm going to work my way through chat now for you, so you can hear all of this straight from their fingertips. So I haven't read half of the so like they say, open books. We'll just take it as is. I think that definitely was the feeling across the board. Hearing the trumpets on the trailers, it's like when YouTubers do clickbait thumbnails to get people to click through and watch. Yeah. One thing I wished. Oh, that was the Sharon comment, and Helen telling me for being a grump. The only criticism I had was a lot of orc masks with pink chins. I loved hearing about fighting the Imperial orcs. Yeah. As someone who hasn't been to Empire yet, it was definitely a good watch. If it was the first thing I'd seen on Empire, it would have made me look into it more. That's good. Cool. That's really
That
good.
is good.
Playing D. Oh no, that's thank you, Bolam. It's completely irrelevant. I love the documentary. Hope to use it to explain to my family because they have no idea what I do. I'll just have to preface it with being boiling and Kit being a little bit different. Yeah. Ryan's you captured the first time enthusiasm really well. There was a comment later that I loved, so I'll read that one out to you when we get to it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was very critical, and as a marcher near the flag debacle, I was concerned, but I actually loved it. I saw my hobby in that episode. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's good.
Really enjoyed the video. Great to give folks who ask about Empire. Love the enthusiasm. He's now telling chat off to behave. Thank you. My favourite part was this was it. My favourite part was your breakfast conversation because it really came through that you were having a good time.
Would you want to know some behind the scenes
Yeah,
stuff about that? I
definitely.
guess because I guess that's why I'm here. So, the Saturday we didn't. Tim had brought spare kit down, but we had never said like, "Oh, on the Saturday at this time the cameras go down and we are taking part." It was never like a formal discussion. It's just I went round to meet Tim and the people he travels down with, like as they were loading up the van to Empire, because he said he only lives around the corner from me, so he said come round because I wanted to meet him in person anyway. This is Tim Packer, plays Larps as Watson in the Marcher camp. And I said, I'd love to meet you beforehand and just have a chat with you. And again, it's his trust thing. Like, I want people to know I'm not like a horrible, cynical journalist who's coming to like do a horrible piece on you. So I went round his house anyway, as they were packing up, and I got to see how much stuff gets packed up. They'd hired like a van, and my God, I was helping them carry tables in and stuff, and it was just never ending. And how they got everything in perfect. But before everyone came around to pack, he was showing me all the different kit he's got. And it got brought up of, I'll bring some down if you fancy it. You guys could put some on and stuff. And it was like, yeah, bring it down and we'll see. But then when it got to the Saturday and it was like, right, we're going to have to go now. And he said, well, I've got that kit. Like, do you want to get stuck in? And we were like, yes, we want to get stuck in, like, so bad. And I've forgotten the question. What was I talking about?
It was the breakfast conversation. Showing you were having a good time.
This is it. I got totally carried away. So the breakfast. So we ended up staying on the Saturday and having some drinks. But we parked with the intention of driving back to the hotel that night around the corner. Don't know if I should be telling this story, but we were like, no, we're fully in it now. Let's get stuck in. So all our bags went in the boot of the car. We came back on site, like in kit. We now had our like characters set up. We had resources to trade. We sort of had a lay of the land, and we were just loving it, like just loving it so much. So we just were like, let's just stay. We'll worry about getting back to the hotel later. Like, we're here. We do not want to go. The kit's in the car. It's safe. The camera kit and stuff. Let's get stuck in. We had our tankards from Twisted Goblin Armory, and we're going around drinking cider and ale and mead, and just had this fantastic night. And then it got to maybe like 1 a.m. or something, and we were coming back to film the battle the next day. So we're like, oh, we need to get back to this hotel and get everything charged up. So we had to ring a taxi at like 1 a.m, and they make you pay like a deposit because they expect just drunkards who aren't going to show up. So like, it was kind of true. So we paid the deposit over the phone. We had to walk right up that track to like the country road, and taxi drivers there going, what? And there's just me and Jack in our kit. Then we get in the car. He takes us back to the hotel and we go to sleep. But obviously all our clothes were in the car on site. So we woke up and all we had to wear was our kit. And that's when we thought, like, oh, let's film the little bit where I'm out on the street. And we genuinely had to have breakfast like that because all our clothes were like on site basically. So that's just how it happened. It wasn't like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we did it like this? And then I remember I can't remember what time the battle starts. It might be like 11, 10 or whatever 11, it was. Yeah. And we're trying to ring taxis. No taxis are picking up. And my heart drops because like this was where we had the opportunity to fly the drone over and stuff. So we needed to get this bit. So I ran downstairs and we were staying above a pub and the manager was there. And I said, mate, we're here filming this thing, this huge event. Blah, blah, blah. What can we do? And he went, give me 5. My car's outside. So he got us in the back of his Range Rover and like
Oh,
drove
nice.
us round to the event. And he had no clue what LARP was. So we were like telling him what we'd learned as he was driving
Yeah.
around. He saw all the tents and took us to the gate and stuff. And we were like, we can't thank you enough, mate. Cheers. And he drove off. And then it was time to film the battle and stuff. So that bit where I'm eating my breakfast, like, wasn't like a setup or a bit. It was like that's genuinely what happened because we left all our stuff in the car so we could stay on the Saturday.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool. So, just so you know, so the half-hour chat you thought we were going to have has almost been an hour now. So, I'll keep you updated on that one.
No, that's
right.
all good.
Let's keep going with chat. So, a lot of people who attend have used it to share with friends and family about the hobby, which is a good sign. So that's
Good.
really good. I've been going through. To be fair, I've been going for a while, and I still don't get everything. So detail was going to be impossible without a 4-hour documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really, really cool. I think it's fair enough to say that you've done a wonderful job with it. Could someone post Abby's question again for me in chat? Because I've obviously scrolled so far away, I don't know where it is anymore. So I can read that one out because it was a good question. So given the good response, are you going back to Empire to just play?
Yeah, I'd like to. So we said off the bat straight away, like, we want to come back, like, because it was just so much fun. So I started telling a lot of my friends about it before they'd even seen a second of footage. Like, everyone I bumped into or I'd gone to meet up with, it's all I was telling them about. Like, yeah, I've been to this thing, it's amazing, da-da-da. And you can tell that some of my friends, right, who are like, they might be like gamers and stuff, but they have like more serious jobs, and you can tell, like, you see that light in their eyes. They're desperate to go, but society's telling them they can't, and it's like they're wrestling that feeling. So like I've spoke to a lot of my friends who they'd love to go, but haven't quite like said we will go. And I mean, I've spoke to Jack about it. We'd absolutely love to come back because like we spent the night there. We did the songs and stories thing in the Navarre camp, and just like all we were talking, we were just buzzing. We're so blown away of how much fun it is. So we're trying to arrange to come back to one of them next year, but Jack is like a hell of a lot busier than I am, so trying to nail him down for anything is a nightmare. But we are in discussions about coming back. So it'd be just nice to pick up where we left off and do it properly, where we're not like in work mode, because we got a taste for it. And obviously all the stuff, all of our LARPing never, we didn't film it, so it's not in the piece, but we remember like how fun it was. So like I'd love to go back. I definitely want to. I'm just trying to pin Jack down to see if he can make any of like the 4, and if not, like I might just come down. You know what I mean? Like Jack can just see to himself.
He can do one. Yeah. No, that's fun.
Genuinely, it was that good. Where like I'm like, this is class. Like I really want to come back. Like I miss it. Like I remember, I think I don't know if I've been to E2 or E3, but I remember like a month had flown by, or however long it is between events, I can't remember. The next one had happened, and I was like, what, already? And I remember reading everybody's hots and nots on Facebook, and like I didn't get half of it, but I was like, yeah, I missed that. Yeah, that's good. And just like I was just fascinated reading like everybody's experiences, and then I think there was an event after that as well, and I found myself just like reading everybody's posts about the event and stuff, and I was like, I think I've got a genuine interest in this. I think I genuinely quite like laughing.
It's great. It really is good. I mean, I'm lucky enough for that. I do my hots and nots on this, so where people will just write it all out and it's a fairly long blurb. I will sit here for an hour and a half talking about.
Well, I remember reading
happened.
one as well. Something had happened. It was like Mithril Man, and I saw all these memes about it and posts about it, and then posts asking for like, "Can we calm down with the memes now? We've had our fun with this." And I was that interested. I messaged Tim on Facebook. I was like, "Tim, please will you explain what happened? Like, I keep seeing all these posts and stuff. Like, I want to know what happens." So I've just found myself like intensely curious about it, and wanting to know more.
Everyone's going R.I.P. Mithril Man, F to Rift Mithril Man. Fuck Mithril Man. Fuck's sake. My
Yeah,
God.
this is it. I was seeing both sides and going, I just wish I was there. I want to know what's going on.
I'm very much of the opinion. It's just like, just like, come on, please, please. Right, I'm gonna read Abby's question, Alex. It's a very good question.
Yeah.
Did you think the episode would do as well as it has with such a positive response?
Like, did I expect it to? I was just thinking about like you guys in honesty, and I know that's probably not like my work probably would be like, well, actually, you didn't, it's not like PD hired you to make this film about Empire. Like, you are an outside person who's come in to make this piece. Like, you're not doing it for them. But I did feel that like I wanted you guys to like it, so I was kind of just focusing on that. I didn't really know how well it would do in like with the general public and stuff. And then I was kind of worried as well because what you don't want is 300,000 views, but the price you've paid is everyone's getting railed on, and that's like what we didn't want. So I was like kind of hadn't thought about it too much because, as I say, I was thinking about the LARP community. But when it came to like BBC News TikTok asking for like a 1 minute cut they could post and stuff, that's when I was like, oh man, like I feel like this will get big numbers, but I don't want it to get big numbers and
For
have
the
to
wrong
read the
reasons.
comment section and everyone's just getting roasted because that's not like, this has come from a place of love. And I think I saw Abby in this comment section as well, so she'll know already. But the BBC TikTok was like just condensed the film into like a minute. Tried to just give a snapshot of the interviews and stuff, and I think it had like 300,000 views. And for the vast majority, the comments were so nice. Like, you had every other comment was someone going, I did not expect the comment section to look like this. And it was people going, I'd never go to this, but it's not hurting anyone. Fair play. And then you had people going, tagging their friends going, should we give it a go? It's quite interesting in that. And you got the odd comment of like exactly what you'd expect, but that was drowned out by the like pure like positivity. And I was so happy. I was like, right, the LARP community seem happy, and it's been exposed to 300,000 people who've been really nice about it and are interested in it. Like, what more could you ask for?
Oh, yeah.
Something like this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when it comes to TikTok, I've got no fucking clue. I ignore it. I know Abby has tried to explain stuff and talk to me about it.
It's like the Wild West, mate. In the comment section, it can be like the Wild West. People will just get at you for the sake of it.
Yeah.
You get a lot. You do anywhere, but like.
Abby flies on TikTok, so I'm.
Yeah.
That's her world, and she's phenomenal at what she does. Yeah. I'm more of a. Yeah, give me YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I'm all right with that, or X, whatever the fuck it's called now.
The classics are classic for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm an old man. I'm all right with this. I'm fine. It's it's really, really good. Whereas I think it's going to be a rock and a hard place with some things, because even so, there is so much lore in the wiki, you'll never be able to reflect people's personal headcanon. Personally, I think it will open people's minds, and I'm all for it.
Good.
So
Good.
Sorry, been lurking. Had to get the shopping in. It's no excuse, Dan. Once you've wrestled that feeling and taken the dive, there is no turning back. It would be great if you came as. It'd be great if you didn't come as journalists and came back as hobbyists. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I think if we were to come back, and I hope we do, it's journalism doesn't even come into it. We'll come in just as punters.
Yeah.
And Matt's made it clear that we'll have to buy a ticket as well, so we are going as punters.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, definitely. That's fine. I can give you a code for a discount. That's not a problem.
Well, we'll have to talk business, won't we? It sounds good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that. So, I mean, obviously, with getting to it and getting involved and stuff like that, I mean, that's all I do is help people do that. So, if you need help getting set up and getting started, I'm more than happy to do what I can to help you, help Jack or anyone else that wants to come along. So, I'm more than happy to do what I can.
Appreciate that.
Right, I'm just trying to catch up with. I've been cancelled now because I said fuck the Mithril Man. Yeah, his death overshadowed. There was actually an election and we had a new empress.
Yeah, I remember.
And it overshadowed that. It was mental. Yeah, so thanks, Biscuit. Ryan asked, how's the response been from outside of the LARP community? So what sort of response did you... Well, what did the BBC... What did your bosses think of it? That's what I'm curious about.
They liked it, so they were kind of like, that was interesting. I've learned something from it, and I think they were saying like it's full of heart. Like you hear from the people who are in it, and it's genuine, and they love it. So overall, as a piece of like, because it's not there just to like, it's not a piece of journalism in the sense of like we've uncovered this wrongdoing or we have these statistics. It is just so light. It's like, you know, these people enjoy doing this. We've come to have a look. But I kind of wanted it where you find it funny. You know, it's light. You enjoy it. It's easy to watch, but you learn something as well. I remember my bosses kind of felt that like that is what it did, because it was enjoyable to watch. You know, it's quite light-hearted. We're obviously having a laugh in it as like presenters and stuff, but you do learn a lot about the hobby, which was like a kind of a difficult balance to strike, because you could go so deep into so many parts of the hobby, and like just the wiki being so dense and the lore and stuff. But you have to remember, like, the majority of people who watch this don't know anything about LARP. So, like, even though I've been there and been stuck in and kind of go, oh, yeah, Mithril Man, yeah, God Tent, you know, I'm starting to pick up these things. The average punter has no clue what we're on about. So it was trying to, like, make it so someone who's involved could go, oh, yeah, it's not a bad portrayal, that. I'm happy with that. But also someone who's never seen it before could be like, I kind of get it now. And it's like trying to meet in the middle with those two things. Because we could have come to every event, you know, and had Matt or PD honors producers making sure we got everything right. It could be like Empire, the documentary. You know, we could have done something like that, but to squeeze it into 10 minutes after one outing, and to make it make sense for everyone who's going to be watching it, like it's just about striking a balance. Yeah, but I think we did all right. Because the people who, you know, my bosses kind of thought, oh, it was very informative. We've learned something from this, so that's good then. And then people who've watched it, like, who aren't involved in the hobby, have like said, this is like joyous, it's just nice, and I've got a newfound appreciation for what these guys do, and I just like enjoyed watching it. So in terms of reaction, like right across the board, probably couldn't be happier, I think.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal thing, and I think a lot of people agree with me when I say that. I'm glad it's had this positive reaction. I'm glad that everybody who watched it got up, had a cup of tea, cup of coffee, had their breakfast before they sat down and watched it, and went a grumpy little shit like me. So yeah, I'm really pleased. It's nothing to do with me. I'm just happy because it's had such a positive impact on everyone. So you're also a meme now, apparently.
Oh, I saw this. Unless there's more memes I haven't seen, it's like the screenshot of like we did a little segment where like it's like a little recreation of our night out, because obviously we could not film when we were in character, but we felt we needed like I tried a couple of different ways of like illustrating the fact we were like out drinking and stuff, but in the end we did like a little kind of recreation thing, and we tried to like, right, do you remember when we walked past that thing and you started shouting I love laughing, let's do that again. So I was like, I love laughing, and my face is dead close to the camera, it looks kind of wacky, and I think I can't remember where it was, but on Facebook someone had like screenshotted it and put like, this is real as fuck, to be fair.
Yeah.
If that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's it. More, you sent it to me.
It's kind of sick to be a meme, really, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a positive one. It's the part where you say, I love LARPing with subtitles on.
Yeah.
And it's a reaction. It's become a reaction photo.
That's good. I guess.
I'll take it. That's ooh. Yeah. There we go.
Reminds me of the Willem Dafoe meme where he's like looking up at the sky. Have you seen that one before? Made me think of that.
Yes.
But no, yeah, thank you for, you know, having me as a meme. It's a great honour, and I'm sure it'll only be used for good. So yeah, good times.
Yeah, everything that's come from this has been positive. I think if the only criticism is, well, I wish we showed the orcs with all the snaz makeup on. I
Yeah.
think you've done well.
I had seen some people say as well, like it would have been nice to have had like a more diverse mix of the nations and stuff, which I totally agree with. Because as soon as we got in character and didn't have
Yeah,
a camera, you see these like people marching in armor and they look fantastic. And like when when you actually see the LARPing happen without a camera, it's way more impressive than what we were able to like capture. But I think everybody appreciates that because we couldn't just walk around with a camera for obvious reasons, but. Like there was some costumes there and stuff that, and like the stuff at the Navarre camp on the night and stuff. When you see everybody in there doing it, and it's like it's a real thing that's happening. Like I would have loved to have filmed some of this stuff, which and it would have made the thing nice, but like it
yeah.
would have ruined people's weekends, which wouldn't have been good.
I mean, I suppose with all the nations that there are out there, I can safely say I've got 19 hours worth of footage to cover the nations. So
Yeah.
10 minutes, it's just not happening. The game is so big. We've got a wiki that's like the size of 10 Bibles.
Oh yeah.
It's mental. The whole thing is insane.
And
We
as
are
well,
so lucky.
we could only film who wanted to be in it, and we had to do a full sweep, being like, right, you be interviewed, great. Let me just check with every person who's in the background if they're happy. And obviously, if someone wasn't, they had to leave or we had to leave, and it was kind of on us to leave. I felt. And we only had a very short period of time to do the filming, and it was before time in, so a lot of people weren't fully kitted out yet.
No.
But I mean, when you start looking at the photos and stuff that come out after the event, like, so impressive.
Yeah. How much oversight? So the question's been asked. How much oversight did PD have over the final cut, and did they see the footage beforehand?
Basically none, and that's kind of a policy as the BBC, because it's like independent, impartial, public service broadcast, or whatever. You're not like it's a rule that you're not allowed to show anybody.
I'm not going to comment on that at all.
Listen, I'm saying the bit I have to say. You say whatever you want. That's the line, and I have to say. So basically, it's a rule that you don't really show anyone. Unless there's like exceptional reasons, so it's not the norm to like provide the footage and say this is what we're doing. So I would have loved it, I think, because I'm sure Matt would have had some great suggestions on like how to make it right. So I kind of would have liked to have done that, but it's generally not a done thing. So I was emailing him all the time saying, "Oh, if I'm to phrase something like this, does that make sense?" And he'd either email back and say, "Yeah," or he'd email back and say, "No, not quite right." Or I'd message Tim on Facebook and go, "Hey Tim, I'm thinking there's this little bit here. What's your opinion on this?" Like, so there was that kind of oversight, but in terms of, like watching the footage, nobody had seen anything. I mean, people had seen some stills, but when it came out, that was like everybody's first time watching it. To answer the question, so none.
Excellent. Helen has said, "Congratulations on your passion project doing so well. It must be a great feeling."
Yeah, it is. I mean, this whole the LARP thing I'm extremely happy about, but the series in general has been great because, as I said at the beginning, like, it's not my day job, it's just something I really wanted to do. And we started off with, like, competitive running and growing, and then we did something about a guy that waves at trucks, like, just things that were happening at the time that we were just desperate to kind of cover. And it's ended up, we didn't know if we were going to do, one episode or 5, as we've ended up doing. It's been magic, and I love every episode that we've done because we cover different hobbies. I don't know if people know this. It's part of a series where we do like different bits. And I love how they've all gone down. It seems to be like bringing people a lot of joy as well. If you think about how like grim the news is and stuff, just to have something there that's like just 10 minutes. It's bite size. It's just a little daft escape from like reality, I suppose. It's kind of nice, but it is some people's reality. But it's just it's so nice, and it is a passion project, and to see it doing so well is great. The LARP one obviously has had a great reaction, and then the series is getting picked up for television, so yeah, I'm super happy.
So you're going to come back to Empire then to do it?
Well, I think they're going to use the same bits we've already done in the first bit, like, because they are iPlayer exclusive at the minute, but they are going to go on proper telly, which will be like more exposure. But then I would hope that like that will lead to people like above me going, "Do you want to do some more?" Because like it's just so much fun. It'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, that's really, really cool. That is fantastic news. Someone said the Onion contest episode was great.
Yeah,
Well.
thank you very much.
As well. If you're ever stuck for travel down from Durham, we can always try to squeeze you in. You've even got offers of lifts already. So,
Oh, amazing.
that's a good idea. Future streams should be making a character with Adam.
Yeah, well, I'll be up for that.
Yeah, yeah. I've done a fair few of those as well. That's
I bet.
Yeah. You'll have to try a few reenactments next year to see how the time periods change in hobby and such. I think the last time it was filmed for TV was a Warwick Davis family holiday series.
Oh wow!
There's a lot of reenactors who do this hobby as well. There's a lot in the monster crew as well. There are so many aspects of this hobby that you can get involved with, speak to people about. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's absolutely massive. We've already had that question. So yeah, Sierra Lima, I think that was literally the first question. What made you decide to make a documentary on LARP specifically? Like, how did you find this hobby? Because this was going back to your War 40k and Star Wars.
Yeah,
and all of
yeah.
that,
Look, I mean, what I said before is just kind of I'm a nerd basically. And if you look at a Venn diagram of people who play 40k over to people who LARP, there's probably quite a lot of crossover, or like an above average rate of crossover. So I'm aware of LARP, but like, I did think about doing a thing about 40k, but as interesting as it is and how fun it is, you have to remember this is something that people are going to watch, and to roll dice and to get your tape measure 6 inches and to move it. It's not like there will be a way of doing it, but I hadn't cracked it at that point. But LARP was another one that something I knew would be great because the people that do it are so passionate. But then it's got that added thing of like it is visually interesting. Like there's no doubt about it. So it got pulled off the list. And then when people said, "Oh, there's this Empire thing coming up," the timelines fit perfectly as well because I can only get Jack like to film on very specific days. Like I said before, he's a busy man. When someone had said, "Oh, Empire's happening, it's on the whatever of whatever," he was free that weekend, so it was kind of like, right, that's the one we're gonna do, because we didn't have all the time in the world to like, oh, we'll set this up for this weekend. It was like, right, this one's a year, we want to do it, let's do it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with chat a bit now. So far behind. Where was the Wintermark representation? There was none of us there. I think you spoke to a friend of mine actually as well. He was the Navarre camp planner, tall guy, long, typical LARPer, long flowing hair, bit of a beard going on.
Oh yeah, we will have done. Yeah. We will have done. We spoke to loads of people. We had so many like great conversations, but then like not everybody wants to be on camera, and that's kind of like fair enough, and that's kind of nice as well. So there's a lot of people I met and had really great conversations with that I can't necessarily remember as well because I've spent so much time watching the stuff we did record. They're kind of the bits that I can remember the best. But yeah, met so many great people. It was lovely. I do remember stepping into the Navarre camp like on the night when we're like a few tankards in, and I said, "Oh, Jack, that songs and stories thing should be on now. They've got like a fire going. That we'll go." And we walked past like Moorish Cafe and the Twisted Goblin Armory and went straight forward. And I thought I was in the Navarre camp, and there's just no one there. It was pitch black, and I'm like, "Where are you?" I heard this voice saying, "Are you lost?" And I turned, and there's just like an orc sat there, like menacingly. And I was like, "So sorry, I'm looking for the Navarre camp." And he's like, "You're in the wrong place." So we had to come out and keep walking around and going, which was fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Helen's asked what was your favourite and standout moment?
Of the whole experience, like it has to be the in character stuff. Like as much as I enjoy walking around, like interviewing people and chatting, like that was all great. But when we're actually could like go, we've managed to get some interviews. Now we're getting the kit on. Now we can just have fun. Because you're not allowed to film, so there's no pressure to produce anything. Nope. It's just about us absorbing it, so we can better talk about it when we come to like do the edit. So that whole evening was just like magical. all of it was so much fun. But we kind of like we loved the Navarre camp with the songs and stories. We spent a lot of time there. Some of the bars that they have in the woods was really nice. Then we had quite a few drinks at the Marcher camp, which was great. And then we did a lot of trading. You sort of walk down the Marcher camp and up, like in the direction of where the PD stuff is. So it was at that end of the thing. I don't know which nation it was. It might have been yours. I can't remember. But we spent quite a lot of time sat in like an encampment, chatting to people, and just like doing a bit of like trading, doing a bit of chatting, but just sitting and chilling. And just that was the moment where like, we are immersed in this now. Like, we've forgotten about the real world. Like, we're actually doing this, like, for real. So it's hard to pick a highlight because I just loved the whole night. It was just a highlight after highlight after highlight. Like, it was our first time. We were proper excited. It was a hoot.
It sounds like Varushka, where you were down towards at the end. I mean, I tell you what, I mean, I've been grinning ear to ear throughout the whole thing. This has been fantastic. Because, like I said, I think a lot of people were genuinely concerned, but the only thing that we're getting out of this is positivity, wholesomeness, and that. And we're seeing how much you're enjoying it as well, and wanting to come back, and you're going to drag people with you, and that's even better too, because that's how it all starts.
What it's all about.
Yeah, it's all about. It's going to become the most expensive hobby you'll ever had. No, you play Warhammer.
I was going to say like.
I don't know. It's on a par. It's definitely. It's definitely on a par. So I mean, it's like with some of the kit and things like that. It's like, yeah, you could spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on some basic stuff. So I do a lot of work for a LARP company called Epic Armory, and they're based out of Denmark. So funnily enough, I was over there recently for their big reveal of their new kit range, and that was insane. It was insane, and they had like an overall jacket type thing there, which I loved, a big sleeveless thing, and I was thinking, oh, I want that. 160 quid. Ooh, I might buy that in a year or so after I've saved. It's expensive. All of this stuff is expensive, but it's wonderful to see everything that's going on and seeing how chat have gone through everything, and no one has had a bad word to say here.
I know. I kind of felt I was going to get roasted. I was saying to my wife before, like, I'm really excited to do this, but I am like putting myself out there. If people have secretly like got things to say, I'm going to hear about it, and you know, I was looking forward to that. But yeah, I don't know if people have just been polite or whether like it has just been genuinely well received. It's nice. It's really nice.
It's I mean, in chat, anybody there, does anybody have any criticism whatsoever? Does anybody have any? I think we all know you stuck your neck out and appreciate it. That's the big thing there. So
yeah.
Seriously, I totally didn't spend a bunch of money just so I could make my own cloak. Yeah. What happened to your moustache? Funny enough, I asked that as well.
Yeah, I got rid of it earlier today. It's kind of like I can never stick with one look for too long. It's like a changing of the seasons type thing. It's a new chapter, you know. So today I got it into my head that I kind of was gonna go without it for a little bit, and just did it today, and it feels strange. I don't recognize myself. I've had it for that long now. It is weird.
Yeah. So there's no criticism. Been really well received. More femme peeps to be interviewed, and no pink chins. It was a great piece. If the LARPers didn't like you, would definitely already know about it. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the internet has had the power to give everyone a voice, and everyone uses that voice to bitch and moan about stuff.
Oh, listen, I'm a Star Wars fan. I see how this stuff kind of goes.
Like... Oh god, yeah. Yeah, we won't get started on Star Wars. I mean, I love Star Wars.
No, I'll be here for another couple of hours. So
yeah,
going.
I love my Star Wars. I love my Lord of the Rings, and all of that. And it's I've got a friend who's a Geordie, and if he loves everything to do with Star Wars. He's got the helmets. He's got all the Lego. He is very single. It's literally his entire flat. And he will go on and on and on about why he hates the prequel so much and all of it. So, yeah, we're there for hours, to the point of where we have to get him drunk just so he shuts up.
Yeah.
Basically, that's literally it.
I was at Star Wars Celebration earlier this year. It's like the second time I've been. It's been in London twice, kind of over the last few years, and I remember being in the smoking area of the pubs, and like it is all just Star Wars chat, but drunken Star Wars chats that just went on and on and on. But like everyone was kind of loving it. But that was good fun.
Yeah. Unrelated question. What hobbies are you looking to do next?
Yeah, good question. So we have like, I mean, we did the Onion one as like, we didn't know if there was ever going to be another one. It was just like a one-off thing. But I wrote a list at the time of like, just pure, like loads of ideas. So like, and these aren't very well thought out. We might get to it and it might not work. But I kind of want to do, like traditional coach trips to the seaside. So like speak to some older people. We haven't kind of done that yet. You know, and go play the bingo and stuff. That'd be good. I'd like to do. I would like to do 40k. Like, I would like to do tabletop gaming. If I could think of a way to do it where like it's a fun watch, but I would like to do that because it's kind of my thing. Historical reenactment is another thing that interests me. I would like to do maybe something as simple as like Sunday League football, which is something I know nothing about. It's not my world, but it's another world I would be interested to like get into. Some of my friends are involved. When you hear the stories about how they operate, that's a world that's more alien to me than LARPing, but I think that'd be fun as well. And then someone mentioned there more femme people being interviewed would have been good, and I think I'm conscious of that with the series as a whole. So I really want to do something that's reflective of that. I don't want this to be like the bloke show where we just go around and interview blokes who are allowed to have the cheeky little hobbies, but you know, other sections of society don't kind of get that leeway to have like a little man cave and a little hobby. So I really want to do, you know, I want to cover that sort of thing as well.
There's loads of weird stuff out there. It's like,
but not everything has to be weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
everything's weird in its own wonderful way, isn't it?
So, like, you know, if something's mundane to someone, it's weird to someone else and interesting to someone else. So,
exactly.
Like, it's kind of an open book. We don't even know if we're going to get to make any more at this point. But if that call comes and they say, right, we want another then it's like that long list becomes a short list. We start reaching out to people, trying to like see who'd be interested, what kinds of people would meet, where in the country would be, and there'll be no shortage of stuff. Because like I did Radio 6 Music breakfast like last Wednesday, and I've had tons and tons of messages to get through off the back of that, of people being like, you should come and speak to me, we do this, or have you heard about this and this and this. So there's a treasure trove of interesting things to be opened, but it's all down to BBC or whoever. Like, are they going to let me make more? Like, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff out there. It's like everyone in chat's been listing things that you could do here, so I'm not going to read it all off because you're going to have a massive list anyway, and
but send them to me though, because I'd be interested to like read what people are suggesting.
Well, to be honest, you can if you look at the VOD on this on Twitch, you can have it'll all be there, so you can have it all. So this Robot Wars, what was it? Robot Wars cosplay, Quidditch. Historical reenactment and that. So I thought
it would be. I really want to do something about. Have you seen the people that role play in like GTA servers and stuff? I'd love to do like.
I know people who do it.
Well, I would love, because I see them come up on TikTok and I'm fascinated by like these roleplay servers, especially with like the British mods and stuff where they have the car. But I'd love to do an episode where the whole episode is game footage. You know, like the South Park World of Warcraft one.
Oh god,
I thought it'd be so fun.
Yeah,
I've done it in the past where like I did a story once for BBC News about Animal Crossing. It was during COVID and it was like a couple that had done their wedding on Animal Crossing. What's the new one called? The newest one. It had just come out at the time, and I made a character because I had the game and went into their world and we did the interview like in game, and all the game
Yeah.
footage became the piece that we used. So I'd love to do something about roleplay servers where the whole episode is just a little virtual me like walking around asking the questions. I think that would be like
Yeah.
super fun. I mean, I don't know if we're there yet, but that's kind of a dream of mine.
A friend of mine, Digby, he's pretty much a professional streamer. He makes his livelihood from doing this. And yeah, he does a lot of that, but he plays some really weird, esoteric sort of people on those sorts of servers, and that. So, but there is, and funnily enough, actually, yeah, as Helen says, that he actually did a stream where he was role playing as an investigative journalist, and that was it was really good. It was really good until he started to do the French accent, and I sort of like lost the interest there. But yeah, he does all that sort of stuff as well. So there's a lot of people out there who do those sorts of things. So, and to be honest, reaching out to anybody who does that sort of stuff, I'm pretty certain you won't be short of any takers to get involved and stuff like that, because there's like the Red Dead Redemption ones as well, so it's huge. I mean, that sort of online gaming stuff is massive anyway. So what was that? Someone speaks like a Frenchman, I also lose interest. It happens. So yeah, right, so we've been going for an hour and a half. We've done incredibly well, considering you thought this would only last half an hour. So I hope you have got some positive things to go back to your wife with and say, well, I didn't get roasted.
Yeah, no, I might just tell her I got roasted. I might just start crying. I might just like tear up and
crying down the phone.
The larp is so horrible. Don't want to talk about it.
It was
it's been class, right? And I've loved this like whole experience because like, you know, when you put something out, you kind of hope, and if you put something out that's like, just nice like this, all I can hope for is that people watch it and like it, and then a bonus is if a lot of people watch it, and then the dream is a lot of people watch it and like it, and we seem to have hit that like top tier. So I'm absolutely like thrilled, and I've been loving like reading everyone's discussions about it and stuff, because I'm just so like desperate to hear what people think of it and get an idea of like what could have been better, what's been good and stuff. So I've enjoyed reading all the discussion about it. I've enjoyed like seeing the wider public talk about it on TikTok and get an idea of what they're on about. But it's been so nice, and just to know that I'm like welcome back as a punter is like warms my little heart, mate. You know what I mean? I'm happy about that. So I'm sure I'll be back bothering you all at some point, but without a camera this time.
Yeah, I do hope so. It's been great to talk to you about it all, because when it all popped up for me on Twitter, I was very much like, the idea just popped into my head. It was just, I have to talk to you about this, because at the moment all we're seeing like 10-15 minutes of this little thing that happened in our little corner of the world, and then I have to talk to you about this. I want to know it. I want to know so much more. And hour and a half and doing all of this, the genuine enthusiasm has been wonderful to see. It's been really nice to hear your opinion and how much you enjoyed it. So there's a lot of stuff here as well. I would have said we'd reach out to Jack as well, but as you say, he's so insanely busy. I think he'll be.
There's no point with him, honestly. Like, I just get him when I can, and he does his bit, and then he just disappears into the ether because he's doing mint. He doesn't work for the BBC. He's like a freelancer. Yeah. So he has his own like production company. He's working on. Whereas this is my big thing. He's got like loads of other stuff as well, but he's been happy as well. To see how well it's gone down, he's absolutely loved the experience as well. It's just trying to get a time to like agree to go back, because I know he's up for it. It's just finding the time, but I'm fingers crossed like there'll be a window next year where he can just not book anything in, and we can come down again, because it'd be great. I mean, I know he enjoyed it as much as I did.
I mean, the offer stat goes out to him as well. So if I can help in any way, and that. So the dates for next year have already been put out as well.
Yeah, I
So
saw. Yeah, no, I've already sent them to him.
excellent.
Tell me if you're free
That's
on
I
any
think
of
that's
these.
the start, isn't it? So
Yeah.
So I mean, if I can help in any way, then I will. I mean, kit, tent, weapons, travel. Even some people have already offered. So it's the offers are all there. This is such a fantastic and welcoming community that everyone helps everyone. And I think a lot of people will seeing you there, especially in and around the marches without the camera and stuff like that. It will be, I think it's a real like feather in the cap to a lot of people that you
Yeah,
wanted to come
I think
back.
it kind
So,
of. I feel like I really want to do it just like 'cause I think it'd be fun, but I think it'd like bring the whole thing full circle. Like everyone was really wary, came and did it, people liked it, and now I'm one of you. I just think that's nice. Like I just think that's a nice. That's just how it's played out. But I'm really happy it's played out like that. It's
that
been
was
really
that
nice.
was how it all ended with Matt P as well, wasn't it? I believe when he said when he went to give you, we'll describe it as a hug.
Yeah, I
But he just said you're now one of us.
yeah, yeah,
So
definitely. Well, thanks for getting me on, and thanks for everyone in the chat. It's been
yeah,
nice to talk to you, and
no,
I just
it's
love talking about it. So no, it's been great.
any time. I mean, when you decide that you're all coming back or you got a load of people, then yeah, just chuck us a message, and yeah, I'll do whatever I can to help out with character creation, kit, whatever. I mean, it's all. I'm more than happy to do anything really. So chat, thank you so much. Helen's just said, I hope you watch this back so you can see all the comments.
Oh, I'm gonna have to at some point, Anna.
I will chuck you a link for it so you can
Yeah.
see it. And that but you have to watch it on Twitch so you can actually load chat up as well, so it all comes alongside. But yeah, so chat, thank you so much for coming to watch this. When I'm saying coming back, you never fucked off. You're going to watch this. This has been wonderful. I've been really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, me too. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to go off and raid. As we do. Who are we raiding? Let's go and raid Mini Arcana. She's also a larper as well. And so we can get all that done. And then, yeah. And then I'll let you know when you can bugger off and enjoy the rest of your evening away from people like me.
No, I'll be going to change nappies and stuff now, mate. So I don't know what's better. But this has been really good. So yeah, thanks again. It's been great.
No worries. Right, everyone, go off and give some love to Mini Arcana. Go and spread some love, and I will speak to you all soon.